Hi everybody. Hey, thanks for joining me today and thanks for subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it. And I was thinking about today what I want to talk about in this video, and the answer, as it always does, kind of falls into my lap. And what happened was I received an email from a subscriber who asked a question about handling conflict at work. And the question was sort of, hey, have you ever faced conflict at work? And specifically, have you ever had a situation where you didn't get along so well with your boss? And they went on to describe a situation that they're having with their current manager and the challenges with it. And I gave an answer, and we have a great dialogue going. But I thought I would share that with you today and share an experience that I had with you for a couple of reasons. First of all, besides doing a lot of reading and attending a lot of training classes and learning from a lot of people firsthand, one of the aspects of being experienced is that I have lived through quite a few interesting, or I would say interesting, experiences, and even to the point that when I started I had lots of black hair, and now I don't. And so so the answer is, of course, I've had conflict at work, and boy, there's been a couple times when I have had some challenging circumstances with my supervisor or manager at the time, and quite honestly, they were some of the best learning experiences I ever had. And what I thought I would do is share with you one of the stories that, or one of the experiences that I had, and kind of walk you through that. And at the end, I want to sort of summarize some of the key learnings into four key categories as we go through. So I'll summarize them for you because it just may help you if you face a similar situation at work. And in my case, this experience came to me early on in my managerial career. And I was promoted to become a regional manager probably a little bit earlier than I was ready, even though I didn't want to admit it, and probably I didn't even know it at the time. But it was a little bit early in my career for this to happen, and my boss was a very passionate person and really wanted to drive excellent results. And we were just different. We were different in so many ways, and it became pretty clear after a while that we're different. And the more I really tried to understand it, the more frustrated I became, and quite frankly, the more frustrated he became as well, because it just was really not working quite as well as it should be. Now, again, as things happen, I'm in a training class, and after the class, I talked to the instructor for a second and said, this is really interesting on personality styles and interpersonal dynamics. Perfect timing. But I said, I'm having some conflict with my boss, and I don't know what to do about it, just because I'm trying my best, but nothing seems to work. And his answer was kind of surprising to me. He said, well, then you're not doing something right. And here I wanted an empathetic response. I wanted somebody to, maybe even wanted sympathy, I don't know, but I wanted somebody to say, it's okay, it's not you, and it'll be all right. But actually what he says is, no, you're probably doing something wrong. He said, whenever you have a situation like this, there's lessons you need to learn that are going to be very valuable. So you need to stop focus on the other person and focus on yourself. And think about, what is it that you're not doing? What do you need to learn? What skills or and capabilities do you need to develop to get through this situation and to be a better manager? I thought, it took me a while to digest that advice. But it was actually so perfect. And so I was able to get away from the situation a little bit, come back to work, and I started watching my boss, thinking, okay, so what pressures does he have? What is he going through? And of course, he had tons of pressures, so many more than I did. But what I noticed was incredible organizational skills, incredible passion for the business, and incredible drive to succeed. And finally, with that, he brought a lot of industry knowledge and just knew a lot about the industry, far more than I did. And the truth is, he was probably more well-suited to his job than I was to mine. So in taking these things in, I started taking a self-assessment, and I started trying to change things. And I did. I started making some changes, started to get some better results, started to feel better. And the next step I took was then to sort of find common ground with him. So I felt like I was showing measurable improvement in the three key areas I just mentioned. And so I started to try to reach out and connect a little bit and say, okay, look, let's find some common ground. And what became clear to me there is that in those conversations, it was not only the capability that, and maybe it's called technical capability, that I was developing, but it's more a stylistic issue as well. And so in order to create that common ground, I started trying to adapt to some of the stylistic characteristics that my boss had. And what happened was immediately downturn in results with my team. I mean, business performance went down. I lost some key performers that I really shouldn't have lost. I wasn't happy. I was trying even harder, and it felt like I was always swimming upstream, which is always a sign that you're doing something wrong when that happens. And so what happened was me trying to articulate his style. It just didn't work. It just didn't work. And so, and it became obviously not working. So in assessing and working with my boss, it became clear that there was a third aspect to this relationship that was kind of problematic. And that is that it wasn't so much the capabilities that he wanted me to develop and enhance, but it was also the style. And if that entailed being somebody that I'm not, what it means is that we had a difference in values. And to me, values are something that are just non-negotiable. I believe in leading a team that everybody has a unique and an innate ability to express their leadership or their performance in different ways. My boss, which fit the organization at the time perfectly well, had a different philosophy, and it was, be more like me. And honestly, it just wasn't going to happen. So when I looked at the difference in values, I knew I had to make a change. I knew I had to get out of the passenger seat in my own career, get into the driver's seat. When I assessed the organization over the course of my time, I was able to look at we were in a subsidiary and there was a parent company. And the way I thought of it was the subsidiary, the elevator bank only goes up to this floor. In the parent company, if you were paying attention at all, you could see this company was about ready to explode and grow. And some of the most interesting things were happening at the parent company. And that elevator bank went to this floor. So I made a career choice that at the time was very strange to my colleagues. And I made a choice to go down 2 levels into the organization, into the parent company, to get experience that I needed to understand that business a lot better, and quite frankly, establish my brand in the parent company. So while I know there were certainly some raised eyebrows when I changed careers, or not careers, pardon me, but when I changed roles in the company, and I'm sure people thought it was a little bit amusing that it looked like maybe perhaps I was running. Well, in reality, I didn't think I was running. I think I was building a career a different way. And what happened was I was able to express myself and perform quite well in the parent company. And pretty soon I was a regional manager for an acquisition, relocated my family, and we performed very well in that role. And 4 years later, which seemed like an eternity, but in reality, it's just 4 years later, I was promoted and placed over part of the subsidiary where I used to work. And in fact, the person who was my boss began working for me. So the idea was that by getting getting out of the passenger seat and getting into the driver's seat, I was able to craft a career, and it was almost the question came up to me recently. Well, then did you feel like it was just desserts? Or was there revenge? It's like, no, not at all. That's not the feeling at all that goes with this. The feeling goes with it that I'm just very, very grateful that I was able to work for this person, build a lot of capabilities that I wouldn't have had. Those capabilities helped me succeed in the new organization, and I built even more capabilities, and my style actually fit the company where it was going, while maybe his style fit the company from where it had been. So it's a matter of timing and nothing more than that. So look, the point of the story is to share probably 4 key points that I think if you find yourself in this position, or if you may one day find yourself in this position, there's 4 things that I learned. Number 1, you don't always have to follow conventional wisdom. Look, I never did almost, and I was able to create a brand around the best parts of me, and I was able to succeed to a much higher degree than if I was going to try to emulate somebody else. So number 1, it's okay to be non-conventional, and hopefully as you look around your organization that you're maybe working in right now, hopefully there's a way that you can see, there's going to be opportunities for me in other parts of the company, or in the job that you're in at that point in time. But you don't have to follow conventional wisdom and just grind it out and feel like you swim upstream every day. You don't have to. Hey, look, second point is start with yourself. That the instructor of that leadership course was so spot on. Although it's not what I thought I wanted to hear, it was perfect for me because I did have to take an assessment and I had to take accountability for my own development, and that's what happened. The third part of the story is then once you do that, after you do that, try to find common ground. Every boss has pressures that we probably can't even imagine. I know my boss did. And every boss is trying to get something done because they want to try to succeed as well. And they'll succeed if you succeed. So they're not really always against you, even though sometimes it feels like that. So try to find common ground and see what you can do in order to create, common experiences and show that you are working on self-improvement and that you matter. And again, if that is enough, and if you can continue your progression in your current job, fantastic, then do that. If it's not, then you find the sort of the fourth lesson that I'd like to share with you is if it truly is irreconcilable differences, if it truly is values differences, then it's really important to move from what I would call sort of happen to be a victim mindset, where you go home and you talk about work and how bad it is, how bad it is, how bad it is, and how unfair everything is, and get out of the passenger seat, move into the driver's seat of your own career, and be proactive. As I've said a couple times in this video, become proactive and go take steps that will help you be happier at work and succeed in whatever ways you want to call success. What it does is help you raise your ceiling from what you thought was possible before to maybe entirely new levels of success that you can't even visualize right now. So look, I hope this helps. I hope the story makes sense and maybe it resonates with a lot of you. If it does, hey, write to me and let me know what you think. If you have questions in a circumstance that you're in right now, let me know. We can talk about that. Again, 45 years, I've faced a lot of interesting situations. I want to share a lot of them with you every now and then here. But these type of learnings, they come down to four things. Let me tell you, it took a long time for me to sort of figure that out and for it to play out before I could come before you and share this with you. So with that, I'd like to say, hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And watch for me on Why Not You by Mike Amato on Facebook, and certainly on Instagram, Mike Amato3223, and on YouTube right now, Mike Amato Spark. So look, that's enough from me today. Thanks so much for your time, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Cheers.